Ladies and gentlemen, I am your Ayatollah, Big Ray Hernandez, deriving here from the palace in Saudi Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the reporter, the people, the man with a plan, Big Ray, here to stay to talk some WWE Crown Jewel 2021 today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not alone. I am joined by two amazing talents here at hashtag Hamin Media. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in the one and the only. He's not the fake one. He is the real RBV. Rick Vickery, how are you today, sir?
It's me. It's that order, the beat of the V. Richard Bronson Vickery, back again. Glad to be on the air. HMG with Big Ray Hernandez and my main man, Rad Rob. Hey, pretty excited to talk this one. WWE showed us they could actually throw down still.
Well, I got to tell you first, and let me properly introduce, ladies and gentlemen, there are no games played with this man. No. He is serious like a late period, to quote the great Conan. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the one, the only, the radicalized one, Rob Francois. What's going on, Rob?
Acknowledge.
What did you say? Say that again.
Acknowledge me.
Well, you've been. I just acknowledged you, dude. Like,
what's up, guys?
What more do you want?
I'm really glad to break this down to you guys. The only match I fell asleep with was the women's match. So, yeah, looking forward to this.
God, this gimmick is so freaking hot. I don't know how Ben Hamin wears this thing all day. Jesus Christ. How do you take over small countries and wear this damn thing?
He's got that big old beard, too, you know.
Oh, yeah. God, my thing is, my gimmick is small. Pause.
Oh, well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. For those joining us for the very first time, we have a live chat going on, guys, and we want you to all contribute here, all just, say what you want to say, guys. We want to hear your thoughts on WWE Crown Jewel. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to kick this off by saying this, and we're jumping right into this show. Bro, excuse me, guys, this was a hell of a lot better than what I first thought it would be. Number two, I was ready to trash this right out the bat, and I was absolutely shocked that it was as good as it was for me. And I'm gonna go to Rick first, man. Dude, what did you think of this show? And what's going on, man, in your brain after this huge event? By the way, we're gonna break this totally down, guys. So go ahead, man.
See, I enjoyed it immensely. And as I kicked off there, excited to talk about it. But I do want to remind everyone out there, this was a good outing for the WWE. But are we judging? Are we grading on that curve? Because they have set the bar so low. I continue to say, no matter where I'm at, what platform, what podcast, I mean, we have been conditioned by WWE, and the fans have been conditioned by WWE to accept mediocrity as excellence. But again, here to be positive about this thing. Hey, they were rolling in the big bucks today. They rolled out every trick that they had. And I'd say more than not, it was a tremendous outing for them.
Rob, your thoughts, your honest thoughts.
Well, as you gentlemen know, I do not watch the product anymore from week to week. I rely on the amazing commentary and breakdown from everyone here at HMG and the brand. With that being said, I do catch the pay-per-views when they're on. And from everything that I've seen this year, this is the best show that they have put on, bar none. It's not even close. And I did enjoy WrestleMania and the Rumble, but this, for me, was their best effort yet. So there's a lot of hype going into this event. Had a stack card, and for all intents and purposes, they delivered.
Yeah, man, and really quickly, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to the chat. We got Cujo62 live in the chat right now, J12, Bobo, Elizabeth, thank you for joining us, Media M5. We got, we have a bunch of people, and some people are just popping in right now as we speak. So we're going to jump right into the very first match of this evening. We're not playing games here, guys. We're jumping right into the crust of this pie, which was Crown Jewel from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Now, have you guys ever been to Riyadh?
Oh, I got a little time share there.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah, he actually invited me, and it's a really nice place.
Is it really?
Yeah. A lot of sand, but yeah, nice place.
Interesting.
The golf courses are a bitch.
Well, they all sand traps, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, just kind of putting two and two together. All right, so check this out, guys. This match. So I actually jumped in a little late because for some reason I thought that there would be no pre-show, and I literally jumped in at the finish of the pre-show match, which was the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, and they faced the Usos. So I'm gonna have to lean on you guys. I'm gonna go to Rad Rob first. Rad Rob, and again, the Usos did go over with the big Samoan splash off the top rope for the clean 1, 2, 3. Anything stick out to you in this match? Did you even know this match was taking place?
Yes, I watched the match because I was actually well prepared for this, unlike you that thought it was last Thursday. But that, I mean, what do you get from a Yankees fan? That being said, sorry.
All right, I'm gonna cut off his mic.
Look, we know all four guys can go, and it was a great match to kick everything off. No pun intended, because Shelton Benjamin's been around a long while. The Usos are a fantastic tag team. You expect. I mean, there was no shocker here. I mean, the Bloodline's not going to lose the first match of the night. So it was what it was. It was a fun little match to get the crowd warmed up, and that's exactly what the purpose of it was. But I enjoyed it, and yeah, it was a good way to start the show.
Our good buddy Brad Shepard, Rick Vickery, he actually tweeted out on Twitter about this match as we jump into this match in depth. The Young Bucks couldn't lace the Usos' boots. The Usos are the greatest tag team in modern pro wrestling history. Hashtag WWE Crown Jewel. Do you agree with that, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a big Bucks backer. I think it's overhyped. I do applaud their promotional efforts, their PR machine. It is incredible, but when it actually comes with Roman down inside of the ring there, not a big backer of the Bucks. But speak to the match itself here. I had to go back, catch this thing real quick. I knew they would be on the pre-show, so I knew we were going to be talking about it there. As Rob said, it is a warm-up. It's fast-paced. They're kind of setting the tone for the evening, feeling out that crowd, getting them fired up. I do wonder, on the other side, such high praise for the Usos. I wish there was more direction with Benjamin and who was it? Cedric.
Yeah.
It just seems, I was in the building the night that they reformed them just out of nowhere. We didn't get commentary. There was, and even when my understanding from the commentary team that was watching at home, there was very little explanation, and I'm not even sure they picked up a win since they've been back. Maybe one, if that, over the gentlemen we're going to be talking about here who are now feuding during the show. But yeah, I'd like to see, you talk about potential for tag teams. Those two could have a tremendous run as you develop in, pass that torch there from Benjamin to Cedric.
It's funny that you mentioned that because, again, I've been focusing more on the NXT product. I've been watching AEW a little bit more, not really watching Raw and SmackDown as much. And I was like, wait a second, the Hurt Business is back together? I had no idea, Rob. But with that being said, from what I saw during this match, number one, I'm super happy. They should have never broken them up, in my opinion. But anything stick out to you in this match, Rob?
I mean, no. I mean, like I said, it was intended to get the crowd warmed up. Both teams are great. They're all solid workers. The Usos are the hottest thing with Roman right now, and I can say that the big splash for the finish was pretty great. I mean, he jumped halfway across the freaking ring. But no, I mean, it was nothing exceptional. Maybe I don't know if it's just a chemistry thing. I don't know if they planned on to put a great 5-star match on. It was what it was. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just a solid show.
Going back and forth with Billy Ray Valentine, we've been tweeting. I have like a little, not tweet. We have a little text messaging group, myself, Billy Ray Valentine, and the Impact Attack Zone, Colin Wysong. We're going back and forth, and Billy Ray Valentine could not accept the fact that this was a great show. Colin actually came out and said during the text message, I'm paraphrasing all this, that, AEW could only wish to put a show together like this, with this response, with the size, the enormity of it, so on and so forth. And again, I'm not an apologizer or whatever you want to call it for WWE. I'm not a WWE fanboy or an AEW fanboy. I'm a wrestling fan. With that being said, I kind of freaking agree with him. Rick, your thoughts?
Well, hey, you're getting a payday from WWE that is a guaranteed more from the Saudis here than what Turner is paying AEW on their downside for television. And that's just for these Saudis, these Crown Jewel shows. So I think, again, kudos to WWE. They show really what they've shown was when their ball's in the fire, when there is someone putting pressure on them, they can deliver. Now we just got to figure out how to do that on a month-to-month, week-to-week basis.
And
I was joking during the show in a couple chats. Hey, if it takes moving the whole company over there, if it takes the Saudis buying the WWE and just putting people in charge that know how to run professional wrestling, maybe we'll be on to something.
That's really funny that you mentioned that, because as I'm watching this show, I'm like, shit, could you imagine if Monday Night Raw was in Saudi Arabia every single week?
Well, can you imagine if the Jaguars played in England every week? They'd win every game, right?
They were pretty over. They were pretty over. By the way, Boston Celtics suck. The New York Knicks did break their hearts yesterday. That was a wonderful game, by the way. I know we're talking wrestling, but that was just fucking classic.
In the chat here, in the chat, the professor bringing up Crown Jewel was this year's WrestleMania. You know what really stood out to me in comparison? What we've learned the difference is we don't need a 7-hour WrestleMania. We don't need 2 nights for you to try to tell us how great the product is or how magnificent this extravaganza is. Follow this format right here.
Yeah.
We're in and out in right around 4 hours, 5 plus with the pre-show, but it wasn't over exhausting. Great action, and they told a lot of good stories.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, is that because of the trying to get everybody on the card, trying to get everybody a payday, trying to feature everyone? I mean, so
remember, it's 2 days of WrestleMania.
But we've seen in years past matches
the problem.
because of it. Because of somebody going over.
That's the problem. And I'll compare it to in sports. Right now, you're going to this great debate in college football because only 4 are going to get in when they go to the college rankings here on November 7th. And I regularly see it's got to go to 6, it's got to go to 8, it's got to go to 16. No, you devalue the importance of that marquee. So in WrestleMania started going downhill when there was this attitude, we've got to absolutely get everyone on the show. No, if you aren't selling and moving numbers week to week, I'm sorry, you're out at the spectacle. This is the spotlight where we need our biggest names, biggest draws, and most excitement. Rest of the years is yours to earn a spot on that show. We got a lot of that here. It wasn't, gimmicky, overly used gimmick matches with multi-person and 3 or 4 battle royals, if you will, whatever the hell it was, what they'll throw at you. No, this was a great format, a great formula.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I just wanted to just point out, I'm just messing up here. I wanted everybody to just head over to patreon.com, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the patreon.com/Hamin Media for those jumping on. Not only will you get the replay of this show, you get the replay of pretty much every show, not only in video, but in audio podcast. And also on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new website to plug. Is that right, Rick?
I don't know about that.
You don't know about the new website?
I do not.
You do not know about the Vince Russo website?
I do not. I'll plead the fifth on that one. I'll take that. That's on me. I'm out on that one.
Okay. All right. That's wonderful. So, because I had everything kind of queued up here, and now I feel like a jobber.
I'm the one. I'm clueless on it.
Okay. That's fine. Doesn't matter. But if you go to patreon.com, you're going to get everything you need right there. And I can't remember the website offhand. I thought you would know. I thought you would know it offhand. I feel like a dick. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Listen, let's jump into the very next match here, which I'm going to bring this up here. J12 writes, and I quote, "Every part-timer should look at how Edge came back. His return has been great, and he is still as over." So let's jump into that match. Ladies and gentlemen, it is. And again, yes, you can take a shot every single time I say ladies and gentlemen. That's number one, because people put that in the chat. Number two, I can confirm the vet does not ride a camel. I'm just putting that out because they brought that up. I mean, that would be awesome to ride a camel. I was thinking about riding a camel to work tomorrow, but it's very expensive not only to rent a car because of the where we are today in the United States, but can you imagine renting a camel for one day? I'm just saying.
I used to smoke camels, so there's that.
All right, camel. Damn. How do you fucking talk?
I mean, I used to. How do you think I got this amazing voice that I got?
Jesus Christmas. You were high pitched before?
Yeah, I was like this all the time, and then you got smoke them non-filter shits, and then you get like this.
Good God. All right, so look, let's jump into this Hell in a Cell match.
It looks like we're looking at Channel Attitude.
There you go.
Nice save, Rick. Nice timely save.
Thank you, Jesus Christ. Dude, I didn't have time to look it up. Sorry.
You had 4 hours, but no, it's okay. You didn't have time to look it up.
That's fine. We have Edge versus Seth Rollins in this match, and I'm going to go right over to Richard Bronson Vickery. Dude, bro, this was, I hate to use that word, classic, but my God, this is as close to a classic as you can get in the WWE.
I'm going to regularly remind people here, I think we are grading on a curve, but yes, this is one of the more memorable and absolute better Hell in a Cell matches that we have seen in a while. And really, it wasn't, this was because we've had some build here. We've had months of storytelling between these two. This thing is, back and forth, turn after turn, curve after curve, swerve after swerve. What do you want to go down here? There was a reason for these two. There was absolute heat between these two. Absolutely enjoyed the match. But why the hell did this open? They threw everything at one another. You open up. This is your curtain jerker for the evening. It's the longest match, hands down. It goes 27:40. Nothing else is close to that. Closest is 1925 for the women's triple threat. So you're giving us the first thing, and you're expecting the rest of this show to follow up. I do. It's one of the questions I had in the card structure. I think that the remainder of the show did hold up.
Mm-hmm.
But what if if we really look at how we're building that intensity, and this maybe sent us home, or it was much later in the show, how would we be feeling about it? I just don't understand why this is the curtain jerker.
What do you think there, Rob?
Rick has an absolutely fantastic point. It's a Hell in a Cell match. Granted, not the Hell in a Cell of old. There isn't going to be a bloodbath or anything like that. But
no blood. Red cage though.
Red cage. They use tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my! You're throwing everything out there in the beginning of the show. Rick is right. You're setting the bar that friggin' high for everybody else to have to follow that. You're using every gimmick possible inside the cage because that's all you can do because you can't blade. So what does everybody else do after that? This should have been maybe in the middle of the show. I'm not taking away from the match at all. The match was absolutely fantastic. Both men gave their all. As Cujo said, that table spot from Seth getting thrown against the cage and then falling onto a table. I've never seen that before in all my 40 years of watching wrestling. But the placement sucked, but the match delivered.
You know what I almost would have done here? As we know, Lesnar, hey, he'll get the hell out of the building fast. He'll get back on that private jet, get back over here to the States. Roman has been on record in interviews saying he's either going out there first or he's going out there last. He is not working in the middle of the card. If those guys got those demands or those wants, I would have flip-flopped this.
Yeah.
Especially now knowing the finish to the Universal Championship.
I wanted to talk a little in depth about this match too, about the storytelling in this match. We were going back and forth again, me texting Billy Ray and Colin and everything like that. And I thought the storytelling was smart here because what it was like both guys studied each other so much they were able to not only counter every move each other did, but they were using moves that they did not only now, but they brought back moves from the past. I'd never seen anybody wrap a chain around his foot and hit somebody with a super kick. Never seen that one before. I was expecting the what do they call this stomp?
Curb stomp. Yeah.
The curb stomp. They still call it that now. I'm just okay.
They're back to it. They're allowed to say it again.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Can we say it without getting canceled?
Hopefully, I think that's one of the C words you're okay with.
Okay, I can't say the other one. I kept
not the other one. Do not say the other one.
I'm just saying I kept getting knocked off. It was hilarious. The last time I said.
There he goes again. Every time he runs his mouth. But to the chain on the foot, they're seeing the stomp when we're talking about this match and what set apart from just the athleticism, the moves inside the ring is you felt the intensity between these two. You could feel that they wanted to kill each other.
They did, and like you said, it's with that backstory. Welcome back, Ray. With the backstory, they've had months and months to tell this story, which is something that we usually don't get the luxury of having in this day and age with a pay-per-view every month. But I don't know if I would have went as far as like going to Edge's home and invading his home, even though nobody was there. We've seen that shit before from Triple H.
Can I ask you? Did they mention the whole thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin when this guy was his
when him and Pillman,
Brian Pillman came in
with the gun?
Okay,
now they could have, but I mean
that's what I thought of when I heard Seth Rollins went to his crib.
I mean they have callbacks. I don't know if they call back that far.
I mean it was something maybe a right direction. I would love to see something if that was under the direction. If they come and say, okay, we need this. We want to do something on the streets. We want to do something away from the arena to see what, someone like a Ben Hamin, a Ted McNair, what they could come up with for a different setting to hit the execution. But, it was there. They were trying to build towards it. So you could forgive some of it and, again, get caught in the emotion between these two.
Yeah, absolutely. So all in all, I mean, would you disagree or agree with me over the fact that this was an absolute classic? Like, seriously, this was a damn good match, guys.
We know Seth can go, and a lot of people don't like his character or don't like his gimmick. He changes his character every 6 to 7 months. But we know he's a great wrestler. But like Rick said, it was great storytelling in this angle and in this match. I think Edge has helped Seth a lot with that. That's just my opinion. But it looks like he's really kind of rubbed off on him and taught him what good character work is. And we know Edge can go. I mean, God, it's amazing how he can go at his age with all the problems that he's had in the past to put on a match like this, which is dangerous too.
I would say, go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
Rollins isn't the best that he's been in his career, and it's come with working with the Mysterios, with working with Rey Mysterio, and now he's taking that next step, working with Edge. And it seems that he's learning more now how to find a character, a voice, instead of just relying on a move set. And I'd be damned. I hope it's a lesson for everyone out there. Move sets do not move and do not sell in professional wrestling. They're great little additions. They're the spice that makes things nice, but it is about connection, invoking emotion and persona, and you're starting to find that with Seth Rollins.
I just wanted to give a quick finish. A lot of people did not watch this, and there are people probably driving home or maybe watching at work right now, depending on where you are right now. This show did start at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it did finish close to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we had a blackout attempt, but they call it the blackout, the curb stomp attempt. But Edge wedges the chair in the genitalia of one Seth Rollins, which is really cool. I thought it was really cool. And Edge puts on the old what was it? Like a what was the Chris Benoit finisher?
Crippler crossface.
Crippler crossface, and just putting that freaking wrench in his mouth. It was crazy. It was awesome.
Funny. Like, I called that spot when it happened. Once Edge hit him in the nuts with the chair, my wife was sitting right there. She could even tell you. I said, "Yep, all right, chain." He's going to use the chain for the crossface, and he did.
No doubt.
But then he did grab the wrench and put it in Seth's mouth or hammer or whatever it was, and you could see like his tongue was bleeding and all that.
It's crazy.
And then, it was really, really cool. And then he gave him the C word.
The curb stomp. We can say curb stomp.
Curb stomp. Yeah.
Yeah. So Edge hits him with the curb stomp for the win. That was pretty cool.
On the chair, which was cool.
I'm gonna say this.
I thought the Benoit finisher was the suffocation.
Oh, would you stop?
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
Unfreaking believe. Don't ever say that. Oh, what happened there?
I think they got him too. Yeah.
Did he mention the C word? Oh,
I don't think you can talk about what.
Anyway.
What he did. Yeah. Oh, he's back. There we go.
Hey, it's cool how the boxes all switch around and stuff. That's awesome. So check this out, man. So we jump into the very next match, and this is this is interesting. You have Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali. What's up?
Before you go there, Ray?
Sure, man.
Just a little tech tip, little pro tip for you.
Sure, why not?
If you click on Rick's box, my box, you can move it anywhere you want on the screen.
No.
If you want to put him back right where he belongs.
Let me see. Let me move him around.
There you
go. Oh, look at that. There we go.
How absolutely can I move can I be on the bottom?
Learning and growing.
I want to be on the bottom. Wait. All right. That's fine. I'm not gonna. Matt Schaffer's in the house.
Big Ray, the power bottom.
What's up, MSG?
Yes, man. Canada the Spaceman's in the house. Mike Roche. We got a good group of people here, guys.
All right, let's get moving here. Let's get back to history in the making. The first time ever that two Muslims were in a WWE ring.
Dude, so we got Mansoor and Ali. So Ali comes into the ring with a look I've never seen before. A little bit like a gypsy. He had the eyeliner on. He had his hair braided on the side. It was pretty cool. What'd you think of this, Rob?
I wonder if I saw that correctly. Yeah, he definitely had the guy liner on, trying to be the Muslim Undertaker. I guess I have no idea. Look, I've not been a big Ali fan. I think he's a great wrestler. They really botched the whole angle they did, where somebody was watching everybody and he was the architect or whatever the fuck it was that they did with the hidden cameras and all that bullshit. I'm not watching week to week. Apparently, these guys have had a program, I guess, for a couple weeks now.
They were buddies, and now they're not.
It was a case of classic. Let's take at least a minimum of 6 months booking for WWE. Let's take at least a minimum of 6 months booking and squash it into 6 minutes. Like literally, they were together for like 6 weeks. They were kind of, should we trust each other? They went out there, got a couple wins. Then things just weren't exactly clicking. And then boom, in a blink of an eye, now we are here. They're having a huge match here in Saudi.
Well, we know Mansoor comes out every time for these events in Saudi. I just didn't know how long he's been on TV or if he's been in NXT or anything, because, it just seems weird that they show clips of them, getting into a kerfuffle on Raw. And I'm like, when the fuck did they call this guy up, or where's he been? So I was kind of confused when it came to that.
So, Mansoor goes over. He's undefeated, by the way. He's totally undefeated over at over in Saudi Arabia. But at the end of the match, right, you get Ali attacking Mansoor. And all of a sudden, this dude just walks down to the ring. Now, first and foremost, I got to go around the room. Rick, who did you think it was?
I wasn't surprised by who it was, simply because I didn't expect anything that was going to be major. I didn't think anyone was going to be a long stay. I do have to admit, I didn't know who the gentleman was. I didn't know his star power, his credibility inside of the martial arts world. But I wasn't expecting anything to really pop me. I thought it was going to be, this was something special for that crowd, and that's exactly where they hit here. I did think it was funny, though, that he was not a karate fighter. He was a karate player.
Right. Just like a judo player.
Or a piano player.
Well, I mean, so it's if I'm going to say this name probably all wrong, but it says Tariq Hamdi. If I'm correct. So thank God. Yeah. Silver medalist, and the thing was that when he was competing, if I'm correct, Rob, in the Olympics, he just knocked the hell out of somebody, the guy he was facing, and knocked him out. And apparently, you're not allowed to knock people out in a karate fight or karate play. Is that right?
Karate match.
Well, karate, it's karate entertainment. I was just wondering if that fighter was just a no word that WWE didn't want to use and the Saudis didn't want to associate themselves with.
I don't know, but I can tell you guys something. I have just a minute-long piece of audio of this gentleman being interviewed right after the match. We're going to go to this really quickly. It'll take just 1 minute.
See, I had to keep the dude under tight surveillance, man. That's why I'm wearing these bummy clothes. You had to make sure the dude had his payroll before I made my move.
Tell us how you cut him.
Yeah, I ain't cut him with no knife, man. But you told me last night you cut the dude. With these, I cut him. I am a chain belt in Kung Fu. Bruce Lee was my teacher. Watch this. What?
Still going. Yep. That's it. And
Ray, you're a multilingual. You're multilingual. Can you translate what he just said?
Well, he was explaining how it was the quarter blood technique, and every time you hit somebody, quarter blood falls out.
Gotcha. When I didn't know who was going to come out, I saw the guy dressed up in the traditional garb. I thought it was actually going to be Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. So
Jesus Christ!
Very disappointed that it wasn't.
Todd Bridges should have won that celebrity gimmick he did when he was doing the Hulk Hogan wrestling thing.
I agree.
I thought he was the best. But anyway, let's move on here. So, all right. So all in all, and I'm going to ask you guys at the end of the show to give a Milton Seltzer 5-star. What do you think? Out of 5 stars. All right, we're going to do it. We're going to. You know what? No, fuck it. Fuck 5 stars. 5 stars suck. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go with the $5 face slaps.
Face slaps, baby.
Did you see that? It's so powerful. The whole thing, the whole gimmick behind me just disappeared.
Yeah, you're all great.
Holy shit. All right, let's jump into the very next match as I make terrible noise behind me.
The finish was great, by the way. A slingshot neck breaker. I thought that was fucking fantastic.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did, actually.
How come Mansoor can't win in the United States, though? I'm just like, he should be champion.
Going forward, I expect these two will kiss and make up and be back as a team within 2 weeks, because I don't see any direction once you get away from these Saudi shows for them.
Agreed. We'll jump into the next match of the evening, and before that,
back on the bottom, please. I feel really weird up here.
Where do you want to go?
Just back on the bottom, please.
Okay, here you go. Back on the bottom. All right, no problem.
Better.
All right, you feel better?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, so you like being the bottom. Anyway, so we have AJ Styles and Omos, and they are facing the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. We have Matt Riddle, or just Riddle, and Randy Orton, rated RK Bro, or just RK Bro. This was actually a fun match. I didn't expect this. Rick Vickery, we'll go to you first. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, I think, in Riddle fashion, you got to kind of smile a little bit there whenever you see the camel gimmick brought into the scene here. But I do want to remind everybody, as much as this new era of fans are going to talk about how fun this was and how great it was, now if you really want to entertain yourself, the greatest camel spot in professional wrestling,
Unbelievable.
WrestleMania, was it 9?
8.
No,
Nope.
it wasn't 8. It was
You're
9 or 10.
No, I think
Vegas.
no, it was 8.
Nine.
It was at Caesar's Palace.
9. Yeah, it was 9.
9?
Yeah, 9.
What's it?
It's here nor there, but it's Bobby Heenan riding a camel backwards is the greatest camel spot in professional wrestling history. But yeah, this was pretty fun. It fits right into Riddle there. Had a feeling these guys were going to pick this match off. Is you got to believe that Amos and AJ are going to be going their separate ways and figuring something out for them.
What did you think of this match, Rob?
I thought it was a really good match. Actually, it was fun. I don't understand the Randy Orton like porn stash thing that he got going on. That's a little bit weird to me. But Omos is obviously a huge guy, and they keep finding ways for him to lose at AJ's expense. So I mean, you kind of knew what was going to happen. Now the RKO out of the phenomenal forum was fantastic, but then Riddle had to get his shit in too. I'm not a big Matt Riddle fan, mostly because of the whole sexual harassment thing. But he's decent in the ring. And yes, there it is, WrestleMania 9.
It's a picture of Bobby Heenan on a camel backwards.
So for those of you listening in the audio version, we're showing a picture on the screen.
It's pretty awesome. There you go. It goes good old Bobby Heenan. God rest his soul.
But the match was good, but I do want to see Omos on his own. I think he can be a big star. I think he can be a giant. I don't know if I put the belt on him per se, because he's probably green as goose shit. But he's got great presence to him, and I think as you guys say, it is time to break him and AJ up. AJ needs to fly on his own and stop doing the tag team thing.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily that they need to break up. I just think they've kind of run their course at this point.
What else can they do?
What else are you going to go out there? And at some point, especially on a stage like this, I mean, we're putting over the grand spectacle and how good this show was, and then to have AJ once again in your mind as almost you're just a paid employee. Essentially, you were a hired gun. To see him let you down one more time, you're that big man. Let's not forget here, and they've done this correctly. Almost has not left his feet. So I mean, you have this mountain of a monster. You still have to topple here. He's got to be getting fed up with AJ. Maybe they tease that a little bit longer. And push it as far as they can, but it'll be interesting again to see what direction they go when these two separate.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I got to tell you, the whole match again. I'm watching this match, and I'm also thinking about Omos. I'm like, man, this guy, he's not your typical big man, like giant. Like usually guys that big, El Gigante, to a certain extent, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd. Those guys didn't move so well. Andre the Giant did move fantastically. If you got to see his early matches when he was really, really young, I'm talking about this guy was doing drop kicks off the top rope. He was amazing, but he could never, maintain that throughout the years. This guy almost moves very well for a big man. And this guy has charisma. He has a fantastic look. And I think the guy can talk. I think he can. So I'm interested to see where they go with Omos. I mean, come on, you guys know. Am I wrong? They're gonna, we're gonna have a blow-off match soon, right? Between these two guys, they're gonna get tired of each other, right?
You have to. That's the only logical conclusion.
All right, very cool. So we have RK Bro. They actually, you got AJ Styles who tries to hit the, the elbow off the top rope. What does he call that elbow again?
The phenomenal forearm.
Yeah, the phenomenal forearm, and he gets caught with an RKO. Boom, and then Riddle hits him with his finisher off the top, which is basically a corkscrew moonsault off the top. They go over 1, 2, 3, so that's cool. And almost was taken out of the match. Now, with a big guy like that, this is the problem. When you're that big and you finally get knocked down, it's very difficult to get up again. So I did like the psychology of the finish of this match. I thought it made sense. Let's jump into the very next match of the evening. This is for the Queen's Crown. Now, I got to tell you, I was wrong here because I honestly thought that it was going to be Doudrop. I thought they were going to put it on Doudrop, but no. Zelina Vega she actually goes over here, and she is your new queen of the ring. I guess you would call her queen of the ring. We see her beautiful face here, courtesy of WWE.com. So that's pretty cool. What did you think of Selena Vega going over here, guys?
Go for it, Rick.
I think this was the right call. I thought they gave away a little too much going back to Monday when she came out to kind of taunt Doudrop, just putting the crown on and all that. I thought that was a giveaway, so I was pleasantly surprised to see her win this. She is absolutely the right call. You're gonna get a lot more out of her in this spot than you are Doudrop. I'm not trying to take away from Doudrop's talent, but also your marketability. Your visuals are much better with Vega in there, and she's going to play perfectly. Basically, from Snow White, the evil queen. Looking into the mirror, asking who is more beautiful and who is better than her in the world. I think this is a direction that she has needed for a very long time since being called up from NXT. Even when she had her faction, they had to do so much in the COVID era, and there wasn't. Without the audience, it was hard to get enthused about what they had going on. There wasn't a lot of creative direction. Good break for her, an incredible talent. This match goes 5:55.
Yeah,
just enough timing that they needed on this thing.
Yeah,
I will say there is a big difference between Vega in her regular ring attire and her in a triple XL T-shirt to cover her up.
I have to tend to agree, but Rob, I got to ask you a question before we move on, man. I mean, this finish, it was basically a sunset flip power bomb for the finish. And the laws of physics tell me that that's pretty much impossible. Did it kind of suspend your disbelief or whatever the hell they call the term?
I mean, it's the same thing when Rey Mysterio tries to give, somebody a Canadian destroyer and he's 120 pounds. So, I mean, yeah, you're suspending your disbelief. What else could she have done to take her out? So, I mean, I guess they didn't have much to play with there when it came to that. So, finish aside, Rick was absolutely right about Vega needing this for her character because she can absolutely pull this off. Typically, the best kings or queens, although it's probably the first queen, we hit Queen Sherry, are heels. Queen Sherry was a fantastic heel when she was with the Macho King. So I think it's perfect for Zelina. And Rick also mentioned her in the COVID era. They didn't have much to work with, but she was out there with her faction every single week, and she was a star. She was moreover in doing better work on the mic than the people that she was with, whether it be on commentary or what have you. She was great, and then obviously they let her go, and I'm glad they brought her back because she is a star. She gets it. She has a great character. She can talk. She's gorgeous, and she
can hold her own in the ring too. And I think her greatest compliment. Andrade has never been able to get over with the North American West audience without her.
That's true. That's true. Now, as far as Doudrop, I think the only Doudrop that matters is the Doudrop in that Rick frequents quite often. So I don't care to see Doudrop in the ring ever again. I don't get it. I don't know why I know she was there with Eva Marie doing their whatever the fuck they were doing, but I don't. And it has nothing to do with her look, her size. I don't think
they missed the boat with those two when you had Eva Marie trying to do the evolution with Doudrop. That's where you should have plugged in almost a superhero Nikki Ash and then put her and Doudrop together. That would, you look at, we're talking about markability here. Those two, they're fun. That they're not what we think of like when we think of the divas or. Professional athlete look. They're kind of that outsider. They can talk to a different market. They can let people know, hey, you don't have to look and fit into this mold to be here to be a WWE superstar. That's something that they could have put together would have been incredible.
And he's right. Doudrop is a gimmick, and that's all she's ever going to be. And I think it's actually a rib for Vince. I think he likes seeing her out there.
What? They could have just remade Duplicate. I mean, every story has essentially been told before. So you look back at how can we recreate it for a new generation? And you could have taken Nikki Ash, put her with Doudrop, and just given us Helms and Rosie.
There you go. Perfect.
So. Yeah. All right, so there's a quick little comment here. They're saying that they buried Eva Marie. That's from J12. I never saw it. I mean, I know she's beautiful and everything like that, but Eva Marie, I don't even know why they brought her back, to be honest with you. Eva Marie, what the fuck?
It's markability. I mean, Vince probably, somebody slipped him a couple blue chews that day. He saw her on Instagram or something like that. Hey, but she's incredibly marketable. I mean, she's so deep into the fitness world. Okay. And those connections to get on magazines, and people want to bring her into their conventions. She's a great, I don't want to say talking head, but a great visual head for the company.
I'm sure she's great at head. All right, so listen, guys. Let's jump into the very next match of the evening. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one. A lot of people were excited about this to see how this would finish. I didn't think in my wildest dreams that Goldberg would go over. I can't say that with a straight face. Anyway, so Goldberg wins, and he wins big. Goldberg, going to the top of the ramp. We had what are these guys? Gimmick Jones, the tag team. What do you call these guys? The
Hurt Business.
Yeah, those guys. They came to the ring and they tried to interfere. They both bought kendo sticks with them, but they just got taken out. And then you got Goldberg with a kendo stick in his hand. Goldberg could have finished the match earlier during this match, but no. What did Goldberg do? Goldberg hit the big jackhammer, and he continued on he wanted to kill Bobby Lashley, and so he might have, as he speared him off the ramp onto the ground, onto what I'm assuming is cement, right? Maybe some wood. It's not a crash pad. He killed him. He pinned him. He won. Rob, your thoughts on this match? Did you think Goldberg 5-star Meltzer Classic or not?
I was happy with the stipulation that they put in. And I mentioned to my wife, I said, this should have been a stipulation for every Goldberg match for the last 4 years since he came back.
And what's that?
No holds barred, falls count anywhere. That way he doesn't have to spend a lot of time in the ring. He doesn't have to take a lot of bumps. I was actually surprised by the amount of time that they had in the ring. Lashley's a fantastic athlete. He's able to carry the match for Goldberg. He was able to get him up for the jackhammer with Lashley's help. So, I mean, these two worked very well together for a couple of big guys. Look, Goldberg still has that aura about him with the wrestling fans. If you discount everything he's done for the last couple of years, especially in Saudi, where he knocked himself out and almost killed The Undertaker, that being said, or the stupid Fiend bullshit that they did, Goldberg is still over. We still love the entrance. We still love the song. We still love the chants. He looks like a fucking badass still at 95 years old. He looks incredible. He's still in great shape. The finish was cool. Don't really agree with taking the Hurt Business out the way he did with one kick and a back body drop, but whatever, wrestling. He didn't use the kendo stick, but then he did spear him, as Corey Graves mentioned, 15 feet off the podium that's only about 10 feet high, onto a set of tables with a black tablecloth over it. Great bump, though. I mean, look, Goldberg could have killed himself. When they showed the reverse angle, which was fantastic camera work, by the way, by WWE and the camera crew, showing that bump from behind with Goldberg's head underneath his arm, going on to whatever they landed on, he could have fucking knocked himself out. But he didn't. So
he did not.
He got a great pop. The fans loved it. The kids loved it. He's all about the kids. He's avenging his son getting put in the hurt lock. So,
which I think his son deserved. I got to be honest.
No, he's a little.
Should have kept his fucking nose out of anyway.
No, he's a bug.
Disgusting.
But look, I enjoyed it. It was definitely more than I thought they would do. It was better than I thought it would be, and it was definitely better than their SummerSlam match. So I'll give them credit. They put on a good show. It was the right stipulation for that match.
Yes, sir. Colin Wysong is in the house. He says it was a really good match, solid show through and through. Rick Vickery, any closing thoughts of this epic battle between these two behemoths of the ring?
Well, Rob, there you're talking about how Goldberg just kind of disposes of the Hurt Business almost with just ease after the war that he's been through here. Well, why not? What has the Hurt Business done to anyone at any time since even reuniting or even prior to that? So, I mean, that wasn't beyond disbelief for me. Goldberg this is the best match I've seen him in since WCW in any of his WWE runs. And I did like on commentary. Hey, they turned it up a little bit during this match, and it's my style of commentary where you kind of get overexcited. You don't really worried about the moves. There's not so much to call here because you got a street fight. You're giving that energy. You're taking it to the next level. And I think that they did a great job of selling the intensity of Goldberg, and you felt that. You felt that the old Goldberg was back, the guy from WCW. You felt that energy when him and Hogan were rocking the Georgia Dome. And I thought that was good to see here. And I thought that there was a little bit of saving grace at the end, as we're saying. I know so many people are going to be just infuriated. This smarks inside the bubble. The bubble are not going to be able to even conceive the concept. How could they do this to Bobby Lashley? They put him over that he got up. I mean, this was a stipulation match. You had all of this anger and energy build up in Goldberg. So I don't think this does anything to hurt Lashley.
I mean, you got to put it this way. Me being a dad, if somebody touched my son, somebody hurt my son, whether my son deserved it or not, you're going to have that extra energy, that power, that anger, that fury. And it may light something inside of me personally that I didn't even know I had. How many times have you seen court cases where you see an old father whose daughter or something was, unfortunately killed, or even, whatever, and he just leaps across, a table and just goes at the person being convicted. I mean, it happens. And this is but we didn't have a murder. I mean, they promised us a murder.
They did promise him murder, and he was almost murdered, I guess.
Hey, they're not out of Saudi, so we don't know what's happening.
It was attempted murder. But anyway. All right, gentlemen. So let's jump into the very next match of the evening. And we have a new king of the WWE. All hail King Xavier Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, Xavier Woods goes over the Prince, Finn Balor, and he defeats him, in which was a very entertaining match. So far, guys, all these matches, in my humble opinion, have been relatively entertaining or more or less well booked, which is, it's kind of shocking to say the least. But I'll go to Rob first. Rob, what did you think, man? Can I throw out real quick that out of anyone who's won that crown over the last few years, for me, it felt genuine that he really wanted it. Being a wrestling fan and the type of character he is and the type of person he is, he really does love the business. And I think Xavier Woods really appreciates the lineage of that crown, so on and so forth. He wanted to be the king as a kid. I'm sure who didn't. So, Rob, what did you think of this match, man? What did you think, Xavier Woods? And he goes over. I forgot how he went over, but he did win.
You know what? He goes over. They've been protecting his little springboard elbow.
Yes, there you go. Yes, that's a cool move, by the way.
He's been finishing a lot of people with that lately.
All right. First, I'm going to ask Rob about this match. Rob, then Rick. I'm sorry. Then Rick, you can jump in, but I have a follow-up question. So go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Rob.
They've been very vocal. He's been very vocal on Twitter about how much he's wanted to be the king of the ring since his tournament started. Growing up as a kid, he's a mark. I mean, he's a mark like all of us. I mean, he's a diehard wrestling fan. We saw him kind of marking out for people's entrances backstage that we've seen in backstage videos and stuff like that. He's still a wrestling fan. That being said, he needs a direction because how long is the New Day thing going to go? I mean, it's been 8 years already. This is perfect for him to be the king. Now, I thought the match was great. Both men really, really took it to each other. I'm kind of on the fence about Finn Balor now. Even though Xavier Woods is short, I mean, look at his fucking guns, right? I'm like, he's big. Yeah,
there was a thickness about him regarding, Colin, about thickness, right, buddy? Anyway, but yeah, man, it was like Xavier Woods
he looks like Lesnar.
Yeah, yes, I agree. 100%.
Finn Balor looks like somebody that could bag your fucking groceries.
Maybe
he's
a handsome guy.
He's got great abs or whatever, but I mean,
great ass.
But he can still go. No, he's a fantastic wrestler. Okay. This is great for Woods. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. I mean, typically on these Saudi shows, they want all these feel good moments, right? Not a lot of heels go over on these shows. And so far, as we're covering this, all faces have won. So, except for Vega, sorry.
Well, this is really face versus face.
Yeah, and it was face versus face. So the crowd really didn't know exactly what to do, but they liked both guys. I like the limit breaker, which is his little, walking the ropes and doing the elbow thing. Like that's a cool thing for me. The only thing that kind of bothered me was the fact that neither Vega or Woods could put on the cape.
Yes, that was funny. I want to give a quick shout out to the chat, the people watching live. We almost got 100 right now live watching. So
Nice.
Thank you for joining us here, guys. We really love you and appreciate you for doing this. And I'm just going to remind you guys to head over to patreon.com/Hamin Media, patreon.com/Hamin Media. We just went over 100, almost 113 right now live, guys. And we are reviewing WWE Crown Jewel live here on HMG. So thank you guys for joining us. This is really cool. Rick Vickery, your thoughts on this match, sir? And I have a follow-up question for you boys.
Well, what we've got, one since you're talking about the chat there, that popped me over there, Media M5, King Pancake Fucker. It just popped me there, and I just had to think about,
there it is.
That King Xavier giving old Paige the pancake batter.
Yeah.
So will we have a Queen Paige? I mean, would that set things off? Hey, Rob, I don't mean to step on your toes there, but I don't want to take away either from Xavier being a wrestling fan, but he's absolutely not a mark. This is one of the smartest moves that anyone could be making in the business, going in weeks ahead to plant the seeds. That this is how important this thing is to you, to get this thing hyped up, to get people in, so it just seems like an overly monumental moment for you in your career. Xavier probably knows he might not ever get to that championship level that Big E and Kofi have achieved. So he's going to do his best to damn well elevate this to that point. And you could tell his energy, right? You've been following him since day one. He made that, since he busted on the scene in Impact Wrestling when you were still back doing the Impact Attack on those shit shows that we used to run with, those shit platforms that we used to run with. But hey, you've seen this guy. And for someone like you that's seen it, this is a feel-good moment. So people that have got behind him from day one, that have seen him, come to everything he has worked, the hurdles he's overcome in WWE, to see the success of New Day, this is something they can get behind. This is good for him.
And go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
Well, I was going to say, I think this might play into your follow-up. Again, I'm intrigued to see where he goes. Will this go to his head? Will Kofi become maybe some sort of a gesture? I mean, they've always been there to support each other, but could this be, we always talked about if Big E split, I mean, what can happen if these guys got into some kind of program? Could this be the trigger for that?
Well, here's my follow-up question. Before this, I'm gonna put over Colin's comment here. Colin Weissong in the chat says, Woods is creative, good on the mic, and gonna breathe some life into this gimmick. Y'all, because he is from the South, y'all just mad you never ran the train on. Oh, okay, all right, we'll cut it off there. We also have former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. I
don't run trains on chicks. I have chicks run trains on me.
That's what she said. So this is my real follow-up question. I'm just going to give you guys to give a brief answer. Will this kingship lead to a WWE championship down the line for Kofi Kingston? That way you have the entire trifecta, all three members of the New Day, which could go down as one of, if not the greatest faction of all time, and not only in WWE history, in pro wrestling history. Yes, I know when I talk about factions, I do know the Four Horsemen. I do know the Fabulous Freebirds. I do know the Von Erichs. I can go back and forth about everybody. But these guys are legit. So I'll go to Rob first. Rob, do you think Xavier Woods, we get that Kofi Kingston, that Big E moment at WrestleMania one day?
No.
Really? Wow.
The New Day has run its course. Like I said, the New Day has run its course. Rick was right. This is going to go to Kofi's to Woods' head. He's probably going to become a heel, and him and Kofi are going to go to a program.
Interesting. Did you guys know that he didn't have the genie boot gimmicks on?
I didn't notice that, but you're right.
I did notice that. I was like, oh, he's in Saudi Arabia. Maybe they told him not to wear that. But anyway, Rick, what are your thoughts then? Do you think he will never hold the gold?
I don't want to say, never say never in professional wrestling, but I'm going to go like 90% no. Maybe 10% that he could, climb that mountain. And as I mentioned, earlier, I think this might be it for him. He potentially realizes that. So make it the biggest deal possible. Do everything you can and I think, what it really does is hopefully he's an individual, because we have seen so many people, after you get, you win that King of the Ring, they slap this just horrific royalty gimmick on you. As Rob said, though, I think if there's anyone that can make this work, that can get anything to get that chicken salad out of that chicken shit, it's going to be Kofi Kingston.
I do not disagree with what you said there, but I do disagree with you two gentlemen. I think they are going to put the belt on this kid eventually. He's one of those stories that he's the runt out of the group. I think I was there live at WrestleMania 35, at MetLife Arena when Kofi Kingston won the title. My son went crazy. My brother. It was insane.
Let me ask you though, Ray, if they
buddy.
did that, what is the story? I mean, because you wouldn't do it within the year, right? Maybe 3 years minimum.
Not that long. I would say that. So right now we're going to jump into another match where we have Biggie as the WWE champion. This is back to back. I don't think there's any question as to why this happened. I think there's rhyme and reason, believe it or not, or maybe just they're not thinking about this. Maybe I'm overthinking, but I think there will be dissension. Biggie has broken away. Kofi is kind of like wisping in the wind, and then you have Xavier, who's now the king. So now you have Biggie as the champion.
Well, it almost stands out too. I mean, where we're talking about couldn't get the cape on or whatever. Where was Kofi? No Kofi.
Okay, so
anywhere.
So hear me out. So Kofi. So we have Biggie as the champion. We have Xavier Woods as the king, and he's already telling people how to cut the cameras and focus on me. You do what I say. This type of thing. He may go that heel route. Okay. And then you have Kofi Kingston, who is maybe a little depressed, who maybe becomes a little sad because his family is falling apart. He's in the twilight of his years. You have 3 different storylines. You have a guy holding on to the championship who already reached the mountaintop. You have a guy who was at the mountaintop, and now he's kind of just nowhere. And then you have a guy who's on the rise in Xavier Woods. You have 3 great storylines. If the WWE does this right, I don't think they're going to go 3 years, maybe 2 years. They can get a good build out of this whole storyline, and then the final dissipation of New Day, and then 5 years from now they'll get back together and at one of those WWE Raw events, those special Raw shows and stuff like that. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
The only way I can see that happening, Ray, is if they swerve and have Kofi turn heel because of everything that's
possible.
That's the only way I can see that working out.
I just don't, like I said,
I think it's too easy to have a heel Woods as king. I mean, if they really want to put a lot of, Kofi Mania is dead. If they really want to get some money out of this, you need Kofi as the heel, and he can pull it off.
Got it. The only thing is that I don't know if the king gimmick has never gone over that well for a babyface. A king.
Hacksaw is a fantastic king, brother.
Oh, and you know what? Let's give a shout out to Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yes.
Who was taken into the emergency room. Do you know any specifics on that, Rick?
I do not at this point.
And Rob, do you know anything about it?
No, I just know it was emergency surgery, and he's okay now. So I'm not sure what it was.
That's one of those. I know a lot of the dirt sheet writers and so-called journalists out there would like to take an inch and try to make it stretch for a mile. Right. But I say at this point we know he's in there. Well wishes, and we'll wait till it's official, till the family, or we get a statement from a representative.
Right. Met the guy a bunch of times. Phenomenal to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Hamin has tremendous stories
and tremendous respect. Tremendous respect for the man as well. Yep. So a big ho to Hacksaw Jim. I'm such a mark. All right, let's jump into the very next match of the evening. And ladies and gentlemen, it was for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the lineage that goes all the way back to George Hackensaw. It doesn't go that far back, but anyway, it goes back to the 1940s or 50s with Buddy Rogers, if I'm correct, the first WWF champion. Am I correct? Yes, I am. So Drew McIntyre versus Big E. I wasn't sure how this was going to work out. I wasn't sure if these guys were going to have that great in-ring chemistry, but I got to tell you, man, this was a big. Now Big E looked small next to Drew McIntyre, and that's a testament to the monster that Drew McIntyre. That's another guy, Rick, that I've been following since Impact Wrestling, and he came over to WWE back and forth, so on and so forth. He worked the Indies, he rebuilt himself, and now he carries a sword, and he's cool. But Big E wins this match. Rick, can you give me some little lowdown? He has to hit 2 big endings to get the finish. Rick, your thoughts on this match?
I like Canada Spaceman over there, Monty Brown, about to pounce, man. I never really thought about the modern day Monty Brown, Big E, man. Going back to talking about the Asylum days of Impact Wrestling, TNA, man. I thought Monty Brown, he was destined for true greatness inside professional wrestling. I was a big fan of his. Hey, like you said, Ray. wasn't anything I really didn't enjoy about this match. It was really what I expected from these two. They worked that big man style, which I'm a huge fan of. They're both extremely athletic, but they know how to cover themselves, but they're not really over pushing it, trying to keep up with all the divers. On the downside of this one, there was a lot of, the rest of these matches, I felt like there was a lot on the line or something to get emotionally involved with. Maybe outside of the RK Bro AJ Styles almost tag match, where that was just fun to get involved with. I know this was for a championship, but with Drew on the move, I really didn't think they were moving anything because everything the mess they got going with the women's division with their champs. So yeah, it was good to sit back, but it kind of became a break match for me just because there wasn't anything emotional connect you.
Okay. All right. I don't disagree with you. I still think it was a pretty good match between the two guys.
Oh, I'm not saying that. The performance by the bell was fine. It was just I didn't feel it was like any kind of connection.
Rob, what do you think, buddy?
I hate to keep saying it, but Rick is right. He's right about a lot of things.
Well, he is. He's also smart and very well hung.
Yes, he is, and he's a fantastic promoter as well
and lover.
Great match between these two hosses. Both of those guys can go, and you're right, Biggie. As large as he is, he looked very small compared to Drew McIntyre. If I was booking a promotion, Drew McIntyre would be my guy. He would be, if I could pick anybody, Roman, Brock, if I could pick somebody that I could build my promotion around, it would be Drew McIntyre. That being said, kicking out of the Claymore is a big deal. We think about how protected that move was before he became WWE champion, as he took Brock Lesnar out of the Rumble with it. That was the move, and for Big E to kick out of that, it is a big deal, and that shows you how much they have invested in Big E, and how I think he's going to have a very long run with that title. So, yeah, as Rick said, neither of us, none of us probably expected Drew to win, but there was enough suspension of disbelief to where maybe they're going to pull the trigger, and give it back to Drew, even if it's for a week or two.
What we're talking for the emotion here, maybe not so much into this match, but what did they do enough for Drew that we are excited to see him make his actual jump to SmackDown tomorrow night? Can he do we feel losing one championship match? Is he going to have to earn his spot up to Roman on the other side, or is he someone that can immediately make an impact, no pun intended, in their main event scene on SmackDown?
I don't think he's going to be a main event player for a while until they kind of hash out what's going on with Roman and Brock and whoever else. I think maybe after WrestleMania next year, there's a possibility, but I don't see him making an instant splash in the main event.
They got a lot of pay-per-views to fill, in between, and they got to have a couple programs in there. And there is not a lot of babyface competitors on SmackDown that can challenge Roman that I believe are going to drive any interest.
Speaking of interest, guys, I want everybody that's watching right now, if you don't mind, hit that, smash, like they say on YouTube, smash that like button and subscribe, guys. Love it. Also, hey guys, join us on Twitch as well, guys. We have some great stuff there. Ben Hamin was there earlier on Twitch reviewing the Edge match, the Edge Seth Rollins match, and that was pretty cool. He was there live from the bunker, so you guys can check that out, guys. And again, like I said 100 times already during this thing, please, guys, head over to Patreon, guys. You see it right down here. It's patreon.com/Hamin Media Group, and join us for some really, really cool, free, and also some special hidden content, guys. You have to become a part of the Hamin Army, and if you jump on patreon.com/Hamin Media, you'll figure it out from that point on. All right, guys. So thank you so much. Listen, I agree with both of you guys. And everything that you're saying, this is why we're all copacetic here. We are all copacetic. This is very good. I like this. No arguments. It's not like me and the vet going at it every single week. Me and Colin making fun of, the size of my head, so on and so forth. And I'm talking about this one. I mean, it's just fantastic. But I don't know if Biggie holds on to that belt that long. Even though I like him. I like him as champion. I don't know if they're going to go with him.
I got something. We're talking about that. I'm going to hold it to the end here on our closing conversation. Okay. I got something for you guys.
All right. So why don't we? What's up, buddy?
Well, I mean, you didn't ask me what I thought of that.
Oh, wait. Well, please.
You really didn't ask anyone.
No,
please. He did. All right. So what did you think of it, guys?
Well, I mean, as the great Drake Wirtz says,
Who?
former NXT referee who can be
Got
found on Cancel with Drake Wirtz every Friday.
Put it over.
It's woke wrestling entertainment. That's what WWE stands for. Woke wrestling entertainment. In the current social climate that we're in, Big E will remain the champion for quite a while. That's all.
You think so?
Yes.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Rick, you agree with that?
I think there's a upside to it. I think he's very marketable. I think we got to get away from the dancing and the jiving and all that. Maybe if we can get like a real serious competitor here for him, and we'll see where it's going.
All right. Well, guys and gals, I hear Colin in the back of my head, and that's again, my former co-host of the Impact Attack, current host. Oh, I said homo.
Almost current
co-host.
The homost.
It's just a Freudian slip.
It's Colin Wayne. He's
Colin.
the homost with the foremost.
He's the homost. But I hear him saying it's boss time, and yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen, but not just the boss. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Becky Lynch, and the boss Sasha Banks, and of course, they are in the ring with the beautiful, the vivacious, and the powerful Bianca Belair. Becky Lynch is the champion. Guys and gals, what did you think of this match? What did you think of their giant oversized T-shirts? What did you think of the finish? What did you think of the fact that now we have two world titles on Raw or on SmackDown?
They flip-flop. The Raw is on SmackDown and the SmackDown is on Raw.
So wait, so now we got the blue title on Raw and we got the red title on SmackDown. I was all totally confused here.
Yes, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to confuse you, Big Ray.
What is going on over here? So, Rick, what did you think of this match if we have Becky Lynch go over here, my friend?
Very simple for this match. Hot garbage.
What?
Worst match of the night.
Oh, my God. You sure?
These three ladies should be embarrassed. Whoever agented this thing should be absolutely embarrassed. There was nothing here that resembled professional wrestling. There was nothing here that really resembled selling. This was repeat. Get in my position for my spot.
Thank you.
Rinse, repeat.
But there was a small package.
If you are a fan of professional wrestling and you try to sell me that this was anything but a pile of hot dog shit, please go burn your fan card because you have no idea what you're talking about. This was one of the worst big hype matches I've seen in a while.
I gotta put over Elizabeth here. She says the women's match went on too long. I don't disagree. She also continues saying they all had to get their moves in. The audience could have cared less about what was going on. Plus, you knew Becky was keeping the title. I kind of felt the same way, Rob, and I'm kind of again agreeing with Rick Vickery. What do you think, buddy?
I mean, it's Rick's show, right? Rick is the real RBV. He knows what's going on. Too many convoluted spots. Were they innovative? Sure, but I felt like I was watching an AEW women's match, and I don't want to see that ever in the WWE. The WWE women's division needs a lot of help. Do they have some of the greatest wrestlers in the world? Sure. But this was not it for me. This was the worst match of the night, possibly the worst match I've seen in the last 20 years.
Wow.
It was big steaming pile of hot camel shit.
You don't watch AEW? The worst. Anyway.
Well, I think you got to look at too inside of the perspective. This thing is going off second to last. They were running vignettes throughout this entire thing. This is one of the most hyped things they had going on. Oh, speaking of that, you realize we were over in Saudi. You know how many times they made a point for women's empowerment on their show to link that to the Saudis?
Yeah.
I mean, we had obviously breast cancer, but we have that link in. You've got the different vignettes. You got a special. The Charlotte going, to Fox thing that happened there. It was repeated throughout this thing. There's the Saudis. They love women. They love, yeah. We're buying
Hold on,
that.
real quick. I was confused then because I thought both titles were on one brand.
Yeah, no. They're flipped.
Okay,
now that everything is getting set to their new home brands. Charlotte has gone to SmackDown with the Raw, and Becky belongs to Raw with the SmackDown.
All right, so we have
they'll trade belts like the Usos and not Private Party. The Private Party knockoff.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, those guys. They just swap belts and they'll be good to go.
So we have the professor who is leaving a magnanimous, a glorious, and a scholarly gimmick here in the chat. He says, no confusion, guys. I see Charlotte and Bex pulling double duty on both shows with the belts in play.
Well, I guess I'll bring it up now. I said I was going to save it till the end there to ask you gentlemen about going forward, but this is the perfect time, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Big E, how long will he hold that title? Remember when around the draft time we had heard some rumors that some big names might be floating between the two brands. We got Survivor Series where they're already hyping champions versus champion. Since you've got the women, especially where you've got on Raw, you've got the SmackDown champ, and on SmackDown, you got the Raw champ. It'd be a good time to unify them and let one of those stars float between brands.
So we had that today, right? Originally, like,
if you're going to do that with the women's, could you potentially do that with Big E and Roman Reigns, where you have one ultimate male champion, one ultimate female champion, and then maybe you leave the Intercontinental and US to float for the men and the tags, and you also have the women's tag floating around, so you have that coverage there.
Listen, I got to jump in. I've never been a fan of two champions on both brands. It totally waters it down. You keep the the Universal title, got it. I got it. Keep the lineage of the WWE Championship, make that the main title. Whoever's holding that belt should win both belts. Keep the WWE title as the main belt. Retire the Universal title. It had its time. I do agree. I think just like in boxing, this is what fucked over boxing, if I may use that terminology. Okay, you got the WBC champion, the IBF champion, you got the WBA champion, the WBO champion. Come on,
you get a championship. You get a championship. Yeah. You get a championship.
I don't mind additional mid-card belts. I don't mind that. I don't mind a European championship. I don't mind tag team championships. I don't mind it. There should be one tag team champion. There should be one world heavyweight champion. You can have a United States and an intercontinental champion. That's fine. One women's champion, one women's tag team champion. Done. And I think there is only one women's tag team championship.
Yeah, there is.
Right.
Thank God.
Which I don't even know.
Unless we're counting NXT.
I don't even know who they are.
It's the superhero Nikki Ash and the big bad dominatrix.
Okay, fine.
Oh, that's right.
Fine.
But yeah, when Brock Lesnar was the undisputed champion, when they first did the first brand split, that champion was able to go in between both shows. So there is a precedent for that. And like we said, with the women's tag team title too, I think that needs to be done. I think it needs to have the focus needs to be on the world champion. We need to have one. It needs to be the most important thing in wrestling, like it used to be, whether it was the NWA or the WWF. They need to go back to that. And I think that will just, like Rick said, not water it down anymore.
Well, guys, we have reached the end of the card. The main event of the evening. It is for the Universal Championship. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have Brock Lesnar versus the Universal Champion. And guess what, guys? We have to acknowledge that Roman Reigns, this handsome guy right here with the tattoo holding the belt, and you have his brothers, his cousins there, and the fat guy praying over him, Paul Heyman. He is the man who defeated the Beast. But why don't you break down, Rob? How did it happen?
This match, for me, was the best match that they've ever had. And we've seen them both many, many, many times, whether it be WrestleMania or whatever else. This match was fantastic.
You mean together, right?
Together,
just to clarify in case somebody...
Together, yes. The Paul Heyman thing, we weren't sure how that was going to work out. Great planting of the seeds when they played a taped promo backstage before the match, where Paul Heyman says, "Let me give you a spoiler. I'm going home tonight with the reigning defending undisputed Universal Champion."
I like that. That was
fucking
great.
Beautiful.
Genius.
And how he was stoic during the entire match, just standing there, not showing any emotion, in one position, not showing whose side he's on, is beautiful. And that's how great Paul Heyman is. Brock Lesnar looked like a fucking badass, dude. And we know how great Roman is, but Brock looked the best that I think he's looked since he's come back 10 years ago.
Agreed.
And goddamn, it's been a long time since he come back. Punk was still there, the needle mover. So I like the fact that Roman was afraid of the German suplex. He held onto the ropes for his life. Like, he was so fearful of going to Suplex City. Great psychology when it comes to that. The pacing of the match was perfect. It was a typical Brock Lesnar match. Nothing spectacular there. And Roman kind of fell back into the old Roman where he was a little bit afraid of Brock Lesnar, which is great. He kind of went back to a little bit of a, back to where they used to be when Roman was a babyface, and it was against all odds. And like, what can I do to put Brock away? This is kind of the same thing, only now he's a heel. He even had a little bit of a chicken shit at the end. So I mean, that's something we haven't seen on a Roman as a heel yet. We haven't really seen him get taken to the fucking woodshed, right? So I think the finish of the match involving the bloodline was perfect. And the one spot, which I'm sure we're going to get into, both wrestlers are out. Charles Robinson took a bump off the F5. I don't know why Brock picked him up and dropped him and just fucking threw him out of the ring. I'm not sure. It's kind of a funny thing.
Trying to wake him up. You ever wake your kids up like that?
He's pissed off, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Charles had to be in the wrong place at the wrong.
Wake up, Aiden.
But both wrestlers are flat out on the canvas. Paul Heyman has the Universal title in his hands. And I don't know how many times they practiced this. I'm sure they probably did it 100 times for him to get it right. Perfectly throws the belt in between the two. So you don't know which one's going to wake up and grab it.
Right.
That's
right.
God, damn, that was the spot of the night for me. That's, as a storyteller and as someone who loves great storytelling and psychology, that was the perfect spot. And kicking out of the spear and the F5s and all that, we've seen all that before. But the look on Paul Heyman's face when Roman won that match as they're walking back up the ramp, Paul kind of has the belt. He's like kind of hugging the belt, and he's looking back at Brock like, oh, he had a little worried look on his face, like, oh shit. Like, was there collusion there? Was Brock supposed to win that when he threw the belt in the ring? That's where they're going to go going forward. And again, this proves with proper storytelling and the right guys doing it, you can captivate any wrestling fan.
Well, people are asking, we have Richard Anderson in the chat who's asking, how long will Paul Heyman be around in the future? What do you think there, Rick?
Well, I will say about the match real quick, and it's amazing how you can feel when you have everyone involved that looks like a professional wrestler, that looks like a professional athlete.
Yes.
And that's simply incredible. The storytelling, the intrigue out of this thing is absolutely crazy. How long is Paul Heyman going to be around for? I hope for a very long time. He is, he's the engine driving this thing. And I think there's a lot they can get at it. It's a lot of twists and turns. I think, the most important thing we got to think is we're staying intrigued. We're staying invested in this thing going forward. Paul's been asked this simple question. What's more important or to remember what's more important, blood or business? But if you go ahead on over to listen to our good friend MSG on the Suck My Balls podcast, as Eric Cartman would regularly remind us, there's nothing more Jews covet more than gold. And I think it was very fitting that he was holding on to that belt that way. Hey, so potentially maybe we get to the point where both of these gentlemen, both Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, they dismiss the services of Paul Heyman. And we get, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you my new client, Dwayne Johnson.
That would be amazing.
That would be.
And I have to respond to this. Cujo62, did you see the pre-show how they announced that this match was a no DQ? 20 minutes later, they pulled it back. Did any of you guys notice that? I did not.
I did not pick that up.
Rob?
I did, because obviously the way the finish got laid out, if it was no DQ, you don't need the ref bump, obviously. So I just wonder if that was a quick on-the-fly change.
It might have been. But I think it's safe to hit the go-home music, because this was interesting. This was cool. This was not what I expected. I'm going to go around the room real quick. Rob, out of 5 face slaps, how many face slaps do you give WWE Crown Jewel 2021?
Is there a scale? Am I going by like 5, 10?
No, 5 face slaps. You got 5.
5 face slaps. So 1 out of 5.
We only have $25 to spend, so we can only get 5. That's the max.
Hopefully I never get any. God damn. But no, I would give it a solid, I'd say 3.5.
3.5. Okay. What do you think there, Rick?
I would say in a WWE era where they average at their best two face slaps. They do got to give it up to them. They showed they can do a lot of things right. These big shows, this is what WrestleMania should be. We don't need 2 days. We don't need 7 hours. We don't need all this other BS going on. But I'm going to go with Rob and give him 3.5.
Okay. And I'm going to go with 3.5 as well. I think it was a solid match. I think it was a solid show, excuse me. I thought it was well booked, a lot of fun. Didn't expect it.
I'm going to take my half star and I'm going to turn that in. I'm going to go 3 face slaps and take that half star and turn that into a thumb up Tony Khan's ass.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. No, Matt Schaffer, I wasn't tanning. The sun is shining in my face and it looked fucking red. My bad. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your review of WWE Crown Jewel here at HMG Rad. Rob, please tell us where they can find you on social media, what projects you have coming up next. All that.
Well, for the next 20 minutes, I'll let you know everything I'm doing. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RadRobGaming. I'm also a Twitch gaming streamer, twitch.tv/RadRobGaming every Tuesday and Saturday night, 6 p.m. Central. I also have many podcasts. I have RTW Main Event that drops every Thursday, RTW Rewind that drops every Sunday right here in HMG. I also have Uncanceled with Drake Wirtz, former NXT referee Drake Wirtz, who was fired for his beliefs, is telling all about his time in NXT. You can find us at patreon.com/uncanceled podcast, which drops early and ad-free in video form on Tuesdays. Or you can catch the ad-supported version in audio on Fridays, anywhere podcasts are found. I also have the Dork Side of the Ring with Husey from It's Hello. It's Husey Hello. That can be found every Saturday. I also have a bowling podcast, which Ray's a big fan of. It's Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. that drops every Friday morning. And I have a project coming up here on Hamin Media Group with the one and only Brad Shepard that we mentioned earlier. Launching November 4th, right here in HMG, is Brad Shepard Unleashed. As we know, Brad is a heat magnet with the IWC. He'll be talking about pop culture, be talking about current events, wrestling, sports, politics, you name it. Brad has a lot to say, and he's got a live mic. And he's going to let it launch right here November 4th on HMG, Brad Shepard Unleashed.
Very cool. And Richard Bronson Vicker.
Christ, you got a lot of shit going on.
It does. Ton of
Conrad
stuff.
Jr.
Hey, I just like to invite everyone to follow my independent wrestling promotion, the Professional Wrestling Alliance. You can find us on Facebook.com/Professional Wrestling Alliance. Make sure you're following all of HMG social media at Hamin Media Group, and keep up with myself, the Art of the Beat of the V, Richard Bronson Vickery, at The Real RBV.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me pretty much here at HMG. You can find me on social media at Big Ray Hernandez on Twitter and on Instagram, and also on Facebook at Big Ray Hernandez, right? What did I say? Big Ray Hernandez? Yes. Or Raymond Big Ray Hernandez on Facebook. Big Raymond Hernandez. Or Raymond. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But you can find us here, ladies and gentlemen. Also, again, subscribe here. Hit the like gimmick, the thumbs gimmick, and hit the little bell there so you know when we're on and stuff. That's really cool. And also head over to twitch.tv/Hamin Media. This is YouTube /Hamin Media Group. And also go to Patreon. You see the banner down there? It says it right there. Go to patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. This has been fun, guys. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the chat. We appreciate all you guys coming on with us. I appreciate you, Rick, for jumping on with us. I appreciate you, Rob, for jumping on with me. And thank you, guys. This has been one hell of a show. And I'm not talking about the pay-per-view. I'm talking about this right here. So,
hey, I think it's just like old GM Brad and Xavier Woods in a movie with Paige. You both took turns on bottom.
In the words... Jesus Christ. I always say I would do this for a living, but if I couldn't, I'd do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. In the words of my brother Bill Schuyler in heaven, we will see you down the road. In the words of the man, Bill Apter, we'll see you at the matches. God bless you all. Take care, and thank you for joining us. Y'all. Oh, yeah.